Uncool is recorded on Audio-Technica mics.
We are all multi-dimensional people, right? And people are multi-dimensional. And we're all multi-hyphenates. On the note of multi-hyphenates, today we've got Dennis. Dennis is a multi-hyphenate in many things.
Yes. So let's run this down, right? He's a tertiary education lecturer. He's published a book before. He's a financial advisor. He's multiple small business owner, and we all have the same 24 hours a day. So Dennis, why not you just introduce yourself in case I missed out any of these hyphens?
Wow.
Or maybe you added more hyphens in the last
but actually,
1 week.
I'm also an actor. That's something that a lot of people miss out as well. But I get it a lot. That's fine. I am, sometimes called a lecturer who acts, or maybe an actor who lectures as well. I'm also being called as a freelancer, maybe a businessman or an entrepreneur. I guess it is more about, what you like to be called and what you like to do in life. But generally, I think I'm just very passionate about my life and the things that I do as well.
So what's your psychology towards money?
It can be quite philosophical. Money is the root of all evil. I do think that is true. So true. Money is also the root of all opportunities and possibilities. Right, so it is two sides to a coin. If we look at just chasing money blindly, I think that might not be a good end to it. But if we are letting money chase after us, right, and that we allow ourselves to immerse into the things that we do well, the passion that we are all seeking, then I think that is for a good reason. So I think with regards to the psychology of money, it really depends on what is your whole take about money. But I do think that that's important. Money is important, obviously, because money helps you to achieve your goals, to get to where you want to be. But at the same time, if we are not very careful with money, right, we might also fall into the wrong side of the equation as well. Yeah. One thing is to allow money to make money for you. So allow money to work for you. I think that's very important. And have a game plan, right? Know what are some sources of income that you can actually have, create some kind of ecosystem for yourself and allow that to run. And then if that works well, just continue and then just go on to other pursuits. So I also use the 4 quadrants very commonly. I use that a lot in terms of shaping my own pursuit in terms of money as well. There are 4 different sources of income, right? So we grew up thinking that, we have to work for an employer all the time in order for us to get our money, right? So that's the monthly salary. After reading that, I realized that, wow, there's actually a lot of different ways in which we can get money as well. So I then went on to become a businessman. That was when I started to open up a foot massage business. That was in 2012. And then I allowed the business to run itself. And then I realized that, hey, actually, I don't need to work so hard. I just have to create my ecosystem or infrastructure, find my workers, and then the money just comes. So I realized that, wow, that really gives me a lot of flexibility, right, for me to travel and achieve my own goals as well. Then slowly I went on to do part-time teaching. I was a full-time lecturer with Temasek Poly, and that's where I got my experience and know-how. And then I went on to go into different part-time teaching in different schools. And then I realized, oh, wow, that's possible. I can actually intersperse my different timing and then I can just go to different spots. Then as I do that, I also went into financial planning and also PR management. I mean, it was a very scary because I was actually doing a lot of things at one time, at one go. But there was some kind of change in 2020 before the pandemic. I sold the business away. Which is foot massage business. And then I realized that, wow, I can really focus more, right? Because at one point I felt that I was doing too much.
Okay. So when you are making such decisions, right, about what to go to or what new business to try, what new venture to try, what new experience to, dive into, what is on the top of your mind? Because I think for a lot of people, something that pushes them to do something or even holds them back, it can work both ways. It is, unfortunately, the idea of money, right? It is, how much can it earn me? Yeah.
All right. I have this mantra about loving what you do and doing what you love. I think once you find that, then you found what is your sole purpose of staying alive. and what keeps you going all the time. So you definitely have to love what you do. All right. And that the moment you wake up and then you dread going to your work, that is a time where you have to reassess your priorities. At the same time, I think it is important to know what you're good at from the onset, when we are young, the moment we go to schools and when we go to universities. I think it is important to explore what we love. The problem with a lot of young people right now is that they just want a general degree. They say, oh, I want to study a business degree because I don't know what to do in future. Right? Even some people, at this age, when they are like in their mid-20s, even at their first job or second job, they think that, oh, this is temporal. I'm not going to do that in the long run. So actually, you're buying time to sort of like explore something that you're not sure yet, but actually there's a lot of opportunity cost. So if you can know what you like to do, while you're young, that is actually a blessing, right? Once you know that, then I think if you dedicate yourself to it and then work towards it, I believe that one day you will be able to see your results, and I think that's important.
But I also feel that a lot of young people, they just haven't had that opportunity, right? So they don't know, they really don't know until they go and try.
It stems from the fact that there's no urgency, right? A lot of young people nowadays, as they grew up, because they come from a rich family, they have a lot of wealth to begin with, maybe from the family. So they are in a very, very good mood, right, of life in which they do not need to work hard. But if we look at our parents, right, people who grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, actually, to be honest, a lot of them, they worked very hard, right? So they really saw that, if you work hard, you can achieve what you really want. But I think a lot of young people nowadays, I guess it is also the problem that we are saying with technology and social media is that things come a little bit easier, right? So they don't see that working hard is important and dedicating yourself to something, all right, and then working towards it, right? That's important, right? Because there's this instant gratification that we talk a lot nowadays, where we want results to be fast, right? If we don't get promoted, right, I'm just going to switch jobs. A lot of young people are dreaming about being an entrepreneur, right? Because it's so cool and sexy to do so, right? But I started my career working for 7 to 8 years in regional marketing for a few corporations, and that's where I learned the hard way. That's where I was able to synthesize the different things all together. I pick a little bit from here and there. I understand how to navigate my different stakeholders, and then I became where I am in terms of teaching and also being an actor and also doing what I love most. So there is this problem nowadays where young people think that, there are a lot of quick fixes. It is cool to call yourself a boss. I want to be an entrepreneur. I can start something. But actually, they don't have real sort of experiences, if you get what I mean.
But I don't think it's incorrect either. I mean, there's a lot of short-term thinking today compared to your parents' generation. I guess, especially when it comes to using the money example again, I think the same can be said for the way people invest, right? I mean, previously, your parents, I guess conventionally, will probably buy, let's say, a stock and then they hold it for forever. They buy and hold forever for like 20 years. And they never want to sell it, basically. And then they hope that they can, like, Warren Buffett their way through it and compound it. On the flip side, look at the younger generation who are, let's say, buying these instruments, stocks, derivatives, all that. They are looking at, because they have a lot of technology, they can start trading on their phone, and I don't think our parents could. and they have all sorts of instruments. Their idea of patience is like, 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, or even less. This year, for example, the markets will tell you, buying whole forever isn't as good. It's just that it's all about patience. I think it's a whole concept about patience. So to you, what kind of what kind of runways do you give yourself for all these sort of jobs or all these projects that you undertake and in your life?
Wow. So when it comes to patience, it really depends on what you're seeking, right? If you are looking at monetary returns and there are really bread and butter issues to solve, you have someone that you need to really take care, then I think you need the practical approach, right, to your wealth, right? You need to really earn the money, and then you need to take care of your pets or maybe your kids. But if you are coming from a more privileged position and then you're trying to seek for some kind of exploration or inspiration, or you're seeking your passion, then I think you can stretch it longer, right? You can stretch it maybe 3 to 5 years. Try to mold it, harness it, and then see if this is something that can grow into something bigger, right? Because things don't happen so easily. You need to build that infrastructure. You need to build your team. You need to build the people who believe in you as well. And then slowly you might see results. When I first started my foot massage business, I took 1 year to break even. And that was, in fact, pretty fast.
Yeah, it's very good,
That's
actually.
very good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect that to happen, but I was also working very hard, was camping there every night. On weekends, I was there serving customers as well. And then, because I saw the opportunity, and back then the demand was great for all these foot massage kind of services, so then I just plunged into it. And then I didn't realize that it's going to flourish. And that actually helped me to open up my second and then my third shop as well. So timeline is actually something that is quite vague, right? It depends on how
I mean,
fast,
it's subjective, very subjective.
yeah, it's very subjective. But the PR outfit that I have been managing, I lost a lot of money in the beginning, in which I actually started with a blogger friend. So
Sorry, but when you say a lot, like what? Like for context, is it 5-figure, 6-figure?
lost
I
a lot
mean,
of
you
money.
said
Maybe not. I mean, in a sense, maybe 5-figure, that kind of amount.
in the high end or the low end? Just to put
Low
context
lah,
for
low end,
our,
low end lah. No lah. I'm
just
not
for our listeners to get
I'm not
to
very
get
much a risk taker, but after like many years, because now I'm still doing the influencer marketing for a few clients, I now realize that actually, I don't need to employ so many people, and I kept the name, I kept my credentials and my business, and clients keep coming, and now I saw that maybe after like 7 to 8 years, I'm seeing more of the returns coming back. So it is strange, something that I kept for so long. I even wanted to just close off the company, but I didn't, because the situation is so ripe for influencer marketing right now. And I get clients, coming to me as well. And I was able to also serve them well. And that's now I'm seeing the returns, so to speak. Yeah. So timeline is very strange. I mean, I have been in the acting industry for 7 years. I don't want to say I have results yet. I've been in the teaching industry for 15 years. I think I'm quite established in what I've been doing, and I love what I've been doing. So it's also a marathon. I mean, they say that the longer you stay in a industry, the more results you will see, right? It's really the stamina, right? Some people, if you keep staying in the industry, you meet the right people, you leash onto the right opportunities, one day you will see the results.
How would you, what makes you want to start something new at any point of time
Yeah, I mean,
any
that's a
point
very
of time?
interesting
Yeah.
question. I'm someone who's quite bored all the time. Whenever I feel that I'm very settled and that something doesn't excite me anymore, I'll try to, just look at different things. Of course, it is within certain means, right? The stage of your life, your resources, your know-how. So we tend to take on this very inquisitive mindset, and that when the opportunity comes, then you need to grab it, and then you need to hold on to it, and then try to see if something can be sort of
Grown and
mold from there,
nurtured.
or
Yeah.
whether you can grow from there as well. I mean, for foot massage, I started when I actually went to some foot massage places. I enjoy the foot reflexology a lot. And then I just told myself, why not I just start something? Because I love foot massages myself. And that's how I started.
So why not just open
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, why not just open one? And I just went around. I was just looking at all these business for sale website, and then coincidentally, someone was trying to let go of the shop. I went to meet this person. We settled on a price, and then I just went on with it.
So do you know how to do it yourself?
No, I didn't. I didn't learn.
That's why he hires people to do it.
Speaking of hiring people, have you ever considered hiring help to feature your business or your project? The Uncool podcast could help you do just that. When you're on the Uncool podcast, you can tell your brand's meaningful story on different platforms at once. And the best part is that we will do most of the job for you. It's easy and it sounds completely cool to me. Just reach out to us at contact@creatives@work.asia or drop us a DM to find out why it's a cool idea and how you can do that.
You were talking about, when you get comfortable, and then that's when you want to go out. But and you're talking also about, how the younger generation coming up, I feel they feel that earlier. They feel like, I always want to try something new, but they might not be at that stage where they're that comfortable enough to, even financially, right, to start exploring different things and start they're still at the exploratory stage or trying to find out what they're good at. So for yourself, was it at a certain stage in your career that you started to do this, or where you felt a little bit more comfortable? Or was it from the get-go that you just started, I want to do this, I want to do this, and then you just
I
build your
was
experience?
rather pragmatic about it. I tend to be very pragmatic towards my choices and decisions. So I was able to do that because I was doing full-time teaching in Temasek Poly, and I got the blessings from my boss. So I actually told her that I'm going to start a business. I actually went into full-time teaching thinking that I can do a business, in which I later realized that, I have to declare and all that. So I was quite ignorant. But I actually had a full-time salary to sort of help me along. And then I plunged into that kind of business investment. So I didn't actually had nothing, and then I went on to do something. For a lot of things as well, when I went to acting, I wasn't like plunging into it full time, but because I had my other sources of income, I was able to then dabble into that. I was able to go for courses. I was able to go for auditions. I was able to spend weekends, just meeting up with directors and friends and all that. So I make sure I have something that I can hold on to before I went on to the next pursuit, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so it's not something that I
So
just
so
plunged
so it's
directly.
very very measured, very very slow. It's a slow
Yeah,
build,
yeah,
but which is something I think is something that the current generation is going to have a problem with, right? I mean, accepting slow builds and so on that, because everything for them is really quick. Like if I want to go
yeah,
eat,
yeah.
it's like if I want to eat something, I'm just going to take my phone, call it, and it's here in my house in 20 minutes. Versus us, where you have to like put on your shoes, go out the house, and go down 1 hour to go get it. If I don't want to do it, then I have to delay the gratification. No, it doesn't have to happen anymore.
So my advice is to dedicate yourself to a position, at least for 3 to 5 years. Really, really be disciplined about it. Go through the whole process of being habitual, being routine, and then just continue to be good at that. So once you have that, your grounding, your base well, then you slowly try to venture into something more exciting, right? Maybe you try to start an online store, or you start to do YouTubing, or you can start to manage your IG account, or you go into cryptocurrency, but you still have a core that you are very used to. And then make sure that when you get into that position, you also try to learn as much as possible, not from the job itself, but from your peers and also from your superiors as well.
So keep an open mind, right? At the same
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
yeah. So I think there's this. This is something that we asked a previous guest as well, where the concept or the idea of enough, right? I think everybody has a very different idea of what is enough to them. So for you, who is always looking for something different.
It is relative, definitely. It depends on the stage of your life. It depends on your life goals. It depends on who you're serving, and of course, your calling. Largely, why you want to do what you want. So, whether it is enough or not, I always have this mantra that you have to spend it. I feel that a lot of us, we want to accumulate our wealth because we are all looking at the future. And this future that's always so uncertain that, we are constantly thinking about retirement and all that. So that makes us want to save up, right? And it's never enough. But actually what we lack is that there's this lack of emphasis of the now, which is actually we are living and we are breathing and we are experiencing everything that is important, which is at this juncture. So to me, spending what you have within reasonable means, I think that's so crucial, because I think we ought to be good to ourselves, especially during a pandemic. Yeah. So my point is that we always have a reason to spend, all right, and that you need to spend so that you can accumulate more. That's my own personal
So
mantra lah.
so you need to spend money to make money.
I think that's so true, right? Because we always have to take stock of what we have, and life is a journey, and we always have to be in this process of giving and taking, giving and taking.
But on that note though, life is also very tends to go off script also, right? I mean, you can make plans and plans, but nobody really makes plans for things not going to plan.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
isn't
true. I mean, based on Murphy's law, things are going to happen. But if we are constantly thinking that the worst will happen, then we are always not taking that risk to enjoy ourselves, to really see things from a different standpoint and really just live, you see.
We're always fearing what's going to happen, right? Yeah.
But I'm very curious to know though, what would Dennis Toh, the licensed financial advisor, tell you though? If you took that perspective of Dennis, a financial advisor, then will you be saying the same thing?
I actually have my own dilemmas because as a financial planner, I do have to get people to save up. I need to get people to invest and plan and all that, right? So that's very much against what a financial planner will say. But at the same time, I also had this thought that life is short, don't need to plan so much. You just have to embrace every moment, embrace your now, and just live life in your own means and your own way. And I guess once you reach that point, it will just take care itself. So I do have that kind of philosophical standpoint as well, which is quite bad. But of course, if we're truly looking at financial planning and the importance of money, I do think that the big ticket items have to be taken care of, and that would be Medicaid, hospitalization, life insurance, and also personal accident. All right, I mean, we are talking about probability in which if something bad is to happen, it might happen, and that you have to take care of all these as well. So, I mean, from that standpoint, we do need to prepare for all these possibilities or potential situations.
But I think what you say is true. I think it's just because like what you mentioned, right? You have your foundations. You are covered. You have something to fall back against, and I think that's always very important. I know it also goes against that what some people say about entrepreneurs, and you have to just go all in and give yourself no way back. That's one school of thought. But if you want to be practical about it and you want to explore different things without having a heart attack at every moment, make sure you've got your grounds covered and not, something happens and there it goes, your life savings are gone, you can't support your parents, you can't feed your kids. So if you have something already very stable, I think that gives you that freedom already to some extent to just try as much as you want. I mean, not as much as you want, but to a certain extent. It's like you're going to a gambling table, but you have a bottom line, right? Once you lose a certain amount of money, that's when you're going to walk away. But you have that freedom to lose that amount of money if it happens. Of course, you don't wish for it to happen, right? So one of the things that we've also noticed is that you tend to diversify outside of the creative industry, right? You're not the only one, but a lot of times I think when people are looking at diversifying, the first thing that they look inside is within the industry, right? They an actor, they might go into directing.
It's like sidestepping.
Yeah, it's entirely different as well. When you say food reflexology, I'm like, what? How did that come about?
For me, I always feel that we have many talents to explore. We are not just confined to one area of interest. My core is definitely mass communications and acting, performing, and creative arts and all that. But I do think that as we grow older, we would, chance upon things that we never knew that we can do. I think that's always a possibility. And the problem with a lot of people right now is that we tend to overly specialize. And then when we become too dedicated to one thing, then we think that, we can't do other stuff, all right? Because there's a lot of opportunity cost involved as well. So I do think that that is like a mindset that I had and that everyone should have. And that because I am curious in general, I try to explore different things when I meet different people. So sometimes when I meet very interesting people, then it will bounce off new ideas. I never know, right? But of course, the mind must be open for the idea itself, right? If we are always very close-knitted and then we think, it's not possible, then we're just going to close off that idea itself. So for book writing, which I wrote this 101 Ways to Get Publicity, it was also something that I was quite fearful. I didn't actually have the experience, but I thought for myself, why not, So I just went into some researching and then I wrote it within maybe 6 months. And then I just Googled self-publishing and I just did it myself. So a lot of times it's just that fear that you're not going to succeed. People are going to laugh at you and people are just going to judge you. But once you realize that, you put that into action and then it becomes something that is real, you realize that, wow, it's actually possible. But a lot of times what's stopping us is that we feel that we are being judged by doing all these things. I mean, at this point, at times I might hear people saying that, oh, Dennis Toh does a lot of things. So I could say, well, it's your opinion. I think I really do a lot of things. Or I can also think, oh, then, would they think that, oh, I'm a jack of all trade and master of none, or that would I be, not used for acting because I'm a lecturer? Likewise, if I'm like pushing too much of my acting stuff, people think that I can't teach. So I do have all these thoughts coming in, but I just say, heck it, I'm just going to do what I like. So it's just how I approach my own work, lah. I mean, and how I slowly venture into many areas. But I must say, at my age right now, I'm actually stopping. At my age right now, I'm telling myself, I don't want to do too much. I want to slow down. I just want to dedicate to that few core. So I am not actually opening up too much. If you get what I mean. Yeah, because I'm actually 45 this year already.
So there'll be no more food reflexology permutations from Dennis.
I would say that is a journey, and that was a learning process, and that I learned very important points from that episode, and then I move on to the next.
I mean, you've learned many things, is it? So
for foot massage, I learned that no one is going to love your business as much as yourself. If you are a business owner, you are the only one who will love your brand, and no one, as much as they get so close with you, they will just forsake you one day.
It's like brand loyalty is dead, isn't it?
Yeah,
in general, brand loyalty is dead. I mean, there could be so many options nowadays. No one's just gonna say, I'm only gonna use this or fly this airline only and so on, because it's just too many choices.
Correct.
That's right. But you also love your passive income. I think who does not, right? But you're clearly doing it. You're doing something right. You're doing something correctly, successfully, because many people will think like, yes, I want to build passive income, so I'm going to do this. But it turns out unsuccessful, or worse, you lose money. So how can freelancers do this successfully?
And that is a story we're going to know in the next episode. So tune in to the next episode. Dennis is going to tell us exactly, he's going to hold that thought, he's going to tell us exactly what you can, why he loves his passive income, and what you can actually do to maybe improve your chances of success.
Do drop us a like, and remember to click follow on our podcast. Also, tell your friends about us. Drop us a 5-star rating, because we know it is cool to be uncool. Uncool was recorded on Audio Technica mics.